All right, so let's go over the gear real quick here. We are essentially using Rob's Whirlwind Earthquake build. However, a couple of changes I like to do here. The main focus on this is that you do want to be like a high Paragon, around 280, I would say, for it to work. You do need somewhat good gear. The main thing working with this build is the IgniJah and the Bach Tech. You can swap these runes around if you like. Like you can use, let me pull these out actually. It's not going to work. Okay. So, if we want to, we can go IgniTech, which just spawns earthquakes as you cast skills type of thing, with IgniJah. However, you'd have to travel, not 25, yeah, 25 meters. I'll go out here real quick so we can test it out here. I just prefer IgniJah over Bach, I think, and I'll tell you why here. This is our jaw right here, right? So once this fills up, we can teleport. So we're walking, we're getting our distance going, we can cast it. Teleport even helps that. In a lot of cases, the Bach jaw feels really good, and you can kind of just get it popping off. Really nice. But with IgniJah, go back to that. I think. So if we go back to IgniJah and we use Bach Tech instead, all we do is walk and earthquakes spawn. My earthquake is up all the time. I'm just spawning earthquakes. I don't even have to cast my skills. I just walk around and do damage. That's why I like Bach on the tech. And then also, the Igni store is offering every 0.3 seconds, so you can just wait like around 2 seconds, and you'll have enough offering to cast teleport off of any skill. So if you wait a couple seconds, cast something, I got teleport, good. Wait a couple seconds, cast something, teleport, good. Couple of seconds, cast something, teleport, good. Same thing with your core skills even, couple of seconds, cast it, good. It just feels more consistent with the jaw with Igni for me. But you can play around with that, experiment, do what you like with that. As far as like items and aspects, we want earthquakes on a two-hander. We're getting that 120x down here, or actually not even an x, yeah, so 120x and additive damage down there too. Big earthquake multiplier as well. Boots, I'm using a slaughter. You can use something like concussive strikes, things like that if you like. I like slaughter, I like going fast. My damage is overkill, so I just prefer this. For the speed variant, you do want an Eretz Bearing to get your Call of the Ancients cooldown. Try to get some res to all if you can on this. We're using Fist of Fate here as well. We do want to masterwork the crit chance if possible. Also, try to get your bonus on this as high as possible. These could be better, honestly. The triple GA is pretty nice, but I do want a higher damage modifier on that. For the chest piece, we're using Mantle. For this, we do not care about the Hammer of the Ancients, okay? All of our damage is coming from earthquakes. Therefore, we want to focus on things like Chance for Earthquake to deal double damage. That is why we use this chest piece, guys. We do use it for pushing variants as well. Even when we're using it for pushing variants, we're still using it for earthquake damage. Earthquake is just insane. Helm, we're using a Shaco here. You can use an Ugly Bastard Helm too if you like. And maybe use just Wrath instead. But use a Shaco if you can. Amulet up here, we're using Bolt Kathos for the aspects. Try to get some strength percent. Heavy-handed or counter-offensive like I have. Let's see, this one here. This is a juicy amulet. The issue is this is my pushing amulet, so I'm not going to use it. We want a Starless Skies here for our other mythic for the ring. Try to crit, or yeah, try to get the masterwork on the crit chance if you can. And then same thing with The ring here, I'm not too mad about this masterwork, but you do want a bold chieftain here. Get the strength and the crit chance, crit damage, Warcry cooldown, brawling cooldown, damage to close enemies, earthquake size, by the way, guys, for your tempers. Earthquake size is huge. You can also use duration on your weapons. So you'll see I'm using heavy hitter. It is possible to just get rid of heavy hitter and go for earthquake duration, especially if you're using this for pushing. I think duration is better than heavy hitter. But back to our weapons here. For the one-handers, our first one we have executioners, giving us a massive multiplier based on how much strength we have. So this is why you want to try to get as much GAs as possible on your strength. It's a 615% multiplier for our earthquakes. We got the duration on here. We do have heavy hitter for tempering on this. The aspect is vehement brawlers, giving us a 30x for 8 seconds every time we cast an ultimate. We also have the incendiary fissures on our polearm here. You can use like a two-hand or sword if you wanted to. Polearm's going to be better overall for the damage, I think, for speeds especially. You do want to get heavy hitter on your polearm. So one of your two-handers you want to temper heavy hitter. The other you want to temper chance for earthquakes to cast twice. You want to make sure you temper both damage while berserking and damage to close enemies, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But that is basically our items there. As far as witch powers, all you really need here is the soul harvest. You want to definitely use 3 growth and decays if possible, so I use grow, I use soul harvest, and I use the cycle for my 3 growth and decays. And the reason why for that is because we need to use that for our gem. While you have 3 or more growth and decay powers equipped, I gain 8x primary core stat, 10x maximum life, and unhindered. And then, by the way, we're also using whatever gem this is. I'll pull them out. I don't know the names of these gems. Lol. So we're using here Moonlight Ward, Friend of the Bog, and we're using Hungering Void, so we have a pull. Again, which powers are pretty much up to you. Just make sure you're using 3 growth and decay to satisfy that gem. Friend of the Bog, I believe. But you do actually want to use Shaken Soul for this as well. That's right. So this is required because you want to get things vulnerable, and that's what this does. You could drop things like Grow for Hex of Whispers, maybe, if you like, things like that. But I like using Grow because it makes my Ancients big. It looks kind of cool. It's honestly just a cosmetic thing. Expertise, we're using a 2-handed axe. We equip the polearm because while we're using a polearm, we gain a 15% X multiplier. So that's why we want that polearm, really. As far as like swords go, they're okay, but yeah, they're not as good as the polearms. You're gonna get a 15% X multiplier there. Real quick, the skill tree, we put 2 into Bash just to unlock the next. We're just going to unlock Whirlwind into Furious. This is just to apply a bleeding and whatever core skill thing is needed. We're not putting ranks into this. This is not our damage. I'm going to put 1 into Tempered Fury. I'm not sure why that's there. I think that's there. I don't know why that's there. Maybe I just need it in there to satisfy. Yeah, I need 1 more point in there. If it was a push variant, we'd be using, I believe, combat, but I need the extra point there. So that works. That's fine. Tempered works there. It makes the most sense, I think. Pressure point actually be better, I think. Now that I think about it, yeah. Let's do that. So pressure point there instead for extra vuln, I think. For the ground stomp, we don't need these up here. We're just getting that. Ground stomp generates 60 fury. and also does spawn earthquakes thanks to our Bolkathos aspect. Max out Martial, max out Imposing. We're going to pick up Strategic Rallying Cry. If you're having resource issues, you can use Tactical. Just keep in mind you're going to be missing some Fortify. If you do use Tactical, you might want to swap out your Witch Power, throw on like Hex of Whispers, for example, because that would make sense to give you more Fortify there. What else do we got here? We're going to pick up Enhanced. We're not using any of these down here, just Enhanced. We're going to put, I believe, 5 into Warcry. Sorry. Pick up Power Warcry and Booming Voice. Max those out. I like to max out Swiftness. Like I said, I like to go fast. Gotta go fast. Max out Prolific. Max out Battle. Max these 3 out here. Slaying, Pit Fighter, and No Mercy. Put 2 into Thick Skin, and we're going to max out Counter Offensive down here. We're going to max out Heavy Handed. Max out Call down here, obviously, and Supreme. And max out Heavy Hitter down here. And for the main passive, it's going to be Unconstrained. As far as the Paragon points go, again, this is basically Rob's board from his build. I do want to point out a couple of things, though. For the starter, we're going to be using Territorial down here. I might make some changes on this, but this works just fine. You don't need to pick up these normal nodes and extra rares or magics like this until you satisfy everything else, okay? So make sure you satisfy the glyph and legendary nodes before you go branching out and including additional like normals, etc., things like that, what have you. For our second board, we're using Decimator here. Glyph, we're using Challenger. The third board, we're going to go over here to the right, and we're going to use Force of Nature. Now, this is why you want damage versus close, because it gives us this multiplier. So until you can cap this multiplier, you want to get that damage versus close enemies. For the Glyph, we're using Martial. Fourth board is Blood Rage. Same thing here. We want to be stacking our damage while berserking until we can cap this multiplier here for 45%. And then for the Glyph, we're using Rumble. Now for the final board, we will be using Weapons Master, and the Glyph will be Exploit. I want to say one thing here, very important notes to pick up. If you have to use this board earlier on, that's fine. But you do want to pick up this Hunter Killer node along with these magic nodes here for Fury on Kill. Okay? It's giving you 7 Fury on Kill if you're able to satisfy all this. And that's huge. If you don't have this, if you can't get that, you need to have Fury on Kill on a weapon, on a two-hander. Once you satisfy your Paragon board up here with the Hunter Killer, so you get some Fury on Kill, then you can remove that Fury on Kill on your weapon for something like some crit damage. And then what else do we got here? We got Mercenaries, I suppose we're using Rahir. I would typically use, honestly, the other dude. I think his name's Subo, the guy that gives you map hack, basically. I'm using this, though, for my pushing variant, rather. Gives you a massive multiplier. A couple of multipliers, actually. I'm using Reinforcement Variana. Doing some Earthbreaker here to knock down enemies. That's pretty much it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, just feel free to comment. Oh, wow, look at the birds. Birdie. Again, the main things here. Basically, you do want your mythics. Going to be huge. Your chest piece. Mantle. Fists. You got so many earthquake multipliers, so it just pops off. And that's it.